You are looking for a small skiff to fish the sound or rivers, or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Phoenix client management models are built on understanding our clients' security needs and responding with a tailored program that is best fit for them. Phoenix provides excellent customer service through well-trained, highly motivated security professionals. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. Currently, we are comprised of 70% prior law enforcement and military veterans. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
Here we go.
In the Northwest Wild.
We've got a ballistic solution app on my...
Tuna grounds are on the ocean, Tommy. We're going to do that. Don't go anywhere.
We've got all the great fish that make great fish and chips.
Things that I've got. I'm digging them moss bags up in the sand. And after work, a cold beer in my hand. Picking wild bears.
Hey, good evening and welcome to Fish on Northwest. Dwayne England, Tommy Donlin. Back in studio, buddy.
Hey.
6 p.m. Thursday. We are live from the Fish on Northwest studios located here in Olympia, Washington. Thanks for tuning in. Got another great show lined up.
We do.
Lots of stuff happening. Even though the weather doesn't seem to be all that conducive to be out and getting stuff done, there is stuff to get done, right?
There is, and there's places to go where you can get it done.
There's places to go where you can get it done. Some of that would not include here currently on the west side, but we'll get to that. First and foremost, I want to remind everybody, first of all, thanks for joining us this evening. If you got questions, comments, or whatever, go ahead and pop them on here. We'll try to get to as many of those as we can throughout the shows. We're always watching. And I want to remind folks, hey, jump over to our YouTube channel if you would. Give us a subscribe over there. Help us build our numbers on that platform. Really appreciate you taking the time to do so. And stop by our webpage. If you have not, check out our webpage, everything we have going on. Pretty much also lives there on the webpage at www.fishhuntnw.com. The online store is there. Still have a lot of things in inventory we're getting rid of, stuff going out the door daily, weekly, shipping out a lot of stuff as of late, which is great. New items on order, new graphics being designed, and plenty of stuff we're going to have on hand for the Sportsman Show. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that whole deal, huh?
Yeah. Let's not cancel that.
That and the boat show. We're going to have a very busy first of the year as we roll into January, February. I can see a lot of things happening. So let's hope we can get there in that regard. But yeah, please do us a favor. Jump over to www.fishhuntnw.com. Check out the webpage if you would. With that, Tommy, lots going on around. First of all, our heartfelt shout out to all the folks affected by the floods. Last Thursday, when we were sitting here, we were talking about how much rain was coming. We looked at some of the forecasts, looked at the potential for river gauges going off the charts. I had said, boy, that Skagit looks to be dangerous, going to go up to extremely high levels, almost record-setting. Ended up being the 5th highest on record.
Really?
For the history of recording the Skagit. So that's getting up there. It was on the up, looking at setting a new record, but yeah, it fell within the top 5. The difference nowadays, they have that $30 million they invested up there at Mount Vernon in that fabricated wall that they can put in place, right? Pretty interesting. You're an engineer, so you look at that feat of engineering and go, they have a wall they can construct with crews, put in place ahead of the flooding, keeps, it costs $30 million for that wall, but think about how many millions they saved.
Right.
Yeah. Hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
And it's too bad not all of the government entities think that way.
Right.
Preventative maintenance.
Yeah,
right?
Preventative maintenance. So they store that thing just if, in fact, they ever need to deploy it. Sure enough, they did this time. They got it in place. A couple feet of water came under the wall as designed versus several feet of water blowing up. So, towns that were affected are still affected. The water is receding very slowly, and people are struggling. So, I mean, if you can help out in any way you can, if there's monies to be donated to certain causes, please try to find a way to do so. Those folks are going to be struggling all the way on through the holidays. So, kind of sad to see what was happening. That being said, water is, sounds like your mic's not working, Tommy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, looks like it might have died on you. We got batteries. Oh. So the water is receding, and you got a green light?
I do.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Just stand by on that. The water is receding, and with that, we have opportunity of some rivers coming back into shape. And maybe my mic's not working. We got some issues here. As the water drops, the coho fisheries are going to be there. The chum fisheries are happening. We got some good opportunity here. They opened up this South Puget Sound, which going into season was closed for the most part. But then as my mic's cutting out here. Something's not. Really? We got it? Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Huh? I don't know what's happening. Okay. Well, I got a couple of people here saying that we're cutting out, but we'll just go with it and see what happens. So, the South Sound, they open up some of these access areas to chum. And let me tell you, the people, now that the rain had subsided up until today, the folks are showing up. There is a ton of chum in the South Sound. And I got to imagine as we get out on the coastal rivers, as they begin to drop, you're going to have some great opportunity on some chum fishing as well. And of course, November is synonymous with big coho. And for the rivers that are hatchery retention only, kind of sucks. We do have some late hatchery runs that will come into play here. But for a better part of it, a lot of these are some of the wild fish returns, bigger fish, so catch and release on those. But we are going to have some opportunity to keep some of these later season coho. And as the water drops, I think this coho forecast proved to be kind of on point.
Yeah, one of a kind. Phenomenal.
And a tremendous amount of coho that have been showing up for 5 months, depending on where, right? And so it's going to continue even after the water begins to drop here. So we can look forward to some opportunity. It's not all doom and gloom. We didn't lose an entire season. We got some coho and chum to go after. Could be a good time. So with that, join us over at Mardon, Tommy. What do you think?
I'm ready. I'm excited. I've never done ducks or geese before. I just notched turkey here a few days ago.
We're going to get to that.
We'll get to that. But
I'm
excited for this opportunity.
So December 22nd, we did it purposefully on a Wednesday. In the event that the ducks may not be there, we still have a great opportunity on some geese, right? We can do goose hunt. So join us over at Mardon. This is with Ross Outdoor Adventures. Shelby Ross, good buddy of ours. You guys have heard of him, seen him on the show, seen us over there hunting with him. We are hunting ducks or geese, and this is an invite for anybody that wants to join us. Make the drive over. We're going to show up there on Tuesday. Check in. This includes lodging, dinner that evening, lunch the next day as we're out hunting, and a fully guided hunt, whether it's ducks or geese. $350.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a smoking deal.
Do you know how many spots we have left on that hunt?
I don't know. I was going to try to get a hold of Shelby today.
Yeah.
I failed in that, but we will make accommodations for as many as we can get over there. We can expand. Shelby can expand blinds. We could split up the groups or what have you. So we're looking forward to a really good opportunity there. December 22nd. Arrive on the 21st. Check into your lodging. Dinner's provided that evening. As I said, lunch. And trust me when I say this, the duck kebabs, either in the duck blind out in the field the next day, to die for.
Did you have jalapeno poppers out there one time too? Yeah.
All of it. Yeah.
Oh man.
The duck, the goose, the poppers, the whole deal. So it's all included. And $350 on a guided hunt. Take home some birds. Come hang out with like-minded folks. Shoot guns. Enjoy the day. Kill some birds. Going to be a fantastic time. I got persons messaging me throughout the week, getting a hold of Shelby. Call him up and book your spot. We have plenty of time to get that still booked. Again, it's not till the 22nd, so once we get through Thanksgiving here and start working towards the front edge of December, we still got 3 weeks to get folks signed up after that. So going to be a good time. Looking forward to getting a handful of folks over there with us, okay? Any questions, hey, hit us up here on the Messenger, on our Facebook page, or even, YouTube. We check messages often. You can email us via the website. Any and all of it. We answer it all. So if you got questions on it, go ahead and ask. We'll get you squared away. All right, Tommy, Thanksgiving is just around the corner. I think I mentioned that. Next Thursday, we are out of studio because we'll be enjoying the holiday with the family. Speaking of which, the holiday decor. Have you noticed? We got some extra.
There's a fine piece of artwork right there.
Thanksgiving decorations here on the front of the desk, provided by our 4-year-old granddaughter, Harper Lynn. She made that at school the other day and said, Papa, you need to put this on your desk for the show.
For the show.
I said, okay. So there you go. Thanksgiving decorations provided by Harper. And we'll be out of studio next week. It is Thanksgiving. We don't do a show on Thanksgiving. And so we're going to take a week off, enjoy the family. Just to make everyone aware, I want to make sure prior to the holiday, everyone reaches out and picks up their package of Fisherman's Brew coffee. If you haven't got it yet, go to fishermansbrew.com, order your coffee. Remember, 5% of the proceeds go towards salmon conservation here in the Northwest. Those boys are doing some great work in that regard. Tommy, you and I both have been enjoying Fisherman's Brew, and it is a fantastic blend of coffee. So go to fishermansbrew.com, check out what they have to offer, order a couple packages of coffee. If nothing else, give it away for gifts this holiday season and help support salmon recovery here in the Northwest. What do you need to bring for the Mardon duck hunt? You need to bring warm clothes, a hunting license, remember your duck stamp, and of course a shotgun and probably some shells.
And a bottle of whiskey.
And a bottle of whiskey. So $350. If you got questions, call up Shelby Ross, Ross Outdoor Adventures. He will get you squared away on what it is exactly you need to bring. Again, you'll arrive there Tuesday, late afternoon, early evening, check into your lodging, and then we'll all meet up for dinner and lay out the game plan for the next day. So couldn't be more simple than that. Going to be a fantastic time, and let's bring a bunch of people over there with us so we can all enjoy. Okay, Tommy, with that, we're going to jump out for a quick break. Seems like we got the microphone issues resolved. Sorry for the little dismay there. But before we do that, let's run down the show real quick. Tommy, we come back from the break. We're going to actually recap your hunt over at Kettle Falls. Very successful week. I'm curious, the weather, the difficulty with what the weather did. We're talking whitetail deer, turkey opportunity. You cashed in on a lot.
Yeah.
Couple birds.
We notched quite a few tags here.
Yeah, notched quite a few tags. So can't wait to hear all about that. We'll delve into that, definitely. Hey, we're bringing back the recipe of the week. Sherry and I spent the last weekend up there in Issaquah with Chef Jeff Maxfield at Finn's Bistro. We shot a number of recipes. Very excited to bring back some great recipes that Jeff has. Tonight, the Venison Gyro, well, Euro. But
I think it's Euro.
Well, I know it's Euro, but it's the Venison Gyro. So, fantastic recipe and so delicious. And it's great. He's going to show you how to take a certain type of cut of meat that you normally would probably throw in the grinder.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And we turn it into something amazing. So make sure you stick around for that. Venison Gyro, it's something to die for. Later on the show, we're going to hear our buddy Dave Calhoun. Dave Calhoun, owner and manufacturer of Northwest Rods. He's got an amazing Black Friday special coming up. He's got over 300 rods, $100 a piece. You're not going to find this high quality of rods for little money.
Yeah.
As what Dave's pumping out the door.
These are finished rods, not blanks, but finished rods.
Full on finished rod, ready to go fishing. We'll get Dave on the phone. He'll tell you all about it, and you're going to make sure you don't miss that sale. And then, prior to closing out the show, you and I are going to have a great discussion on this Steelhead management plan that they're crafting, drafting, the Steelhead town halls that we've been following for the last several weeks. Number 4 installment is around the corner. Meeting yesterday at the commission. So much going on with that. We want to update everybody on the information and let it fall where it may, and see how mad or supportive you become in this whole deal. So again, lots of information to get through. We will get through it. Appreciate everybody joining in. Questions, please post them up. We're going to jump out for a quick commercial break. We come back. We'll be back here in studio with Mr. Tommy Donlin recapping his Kettle Falls hunt right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.
Portco, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes & Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
Hey, welcome back in studio. Dwayne England, Tommy Donlin. Tommy got a handful of questions firing off here this evening. Will the floods decimate the coho eggs already in the river? Well, anytime we get this drastic of volume of floods or flooding happening throughout the state, any of those early spawners, you know, those coho, some of those Chinook, anything that's already been laid in the gravel is, it's questionable on survivability. Typically, this much volume of water completely wipes everything out, pushes it down. Those eggs don't do well and they get covered up by silt and rocks and, you know, everything else. So, yeah, historically, bad floods mid to late November can really shave off the potential for returns 2 to 3 years down the road. So, yeah, we'll see. Fortunately, we have a lot of coho hopefully still coming back, and we still have the chum to hit the gravel. So we'll see how we get, but great question. And somebody was asking if the trip is full. No, the trip is not full. We still have plenty of room. Feel free to call up Shelby Ross, 509-750-7763. Give Shelby Ross Outdoor Adventures, a phone call. Make sure you tell him you are with the Fish Out Northwest trip on December 22nd. You get the group rate and all those things that come along with that. So, okay, with that, Mr. Front and Center. So you made a jaunt over to the east side, Kettle Falls area. I love that area. Not only, you know, like you had mentioned, there's mule deer everywhere. Of course, you're hunting whitetail, but there's mule deer everywhere, right? There's also turkeys everywhere. So
there is.
You went over there with a plan to hunt both turkeys and whitetail?
Yeah, I mean, it was more of a plan to hunt that late whitetail buck opener.
Yeah.
And then if I had an opportunity on turkeys, I would take it, right?
And
so that, and that paid off.
And
right?
you did.
and let me tell you what,
Yeah.
in Stevens County, there are a lot of turkeys.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. I think Stevens County is, if it's not the #1 county in the United States for turkey population, it's damn close.
It's
Let me
up
tell you
there.
what. And I mean, to see, in this time of year when they all get grouped up.
Yeah.
I mean, you look, right, and you see this black cloud. And I mean, we saw some flocks of turkeys that were like 100 strong, 120 strong. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just out in the middle of the fields, just middle of the day, just hanging out,
Right.
big groups, just kind of, and I think I told you, you drive around that part of the country and anywhere you see a dairy farm and there's feed availability, grains and corn and stuff, they're feeding the cows and whatnot. The turkeys love to hang out on the fringe of those things. And then they all just kind of like give the signal, little high five, and they are in there. They freaking decimate the feeding areas. They just go in there, create a huge uproar. Farmers hate it.
The farmers hate them.
And then they take off. And then they come back a couple hours later for another assault. This goes on all day long.
Right. And they poop everywhere. And
Yep.
I mean, the farmers think they're rats. And I would say, like, especially if you're trying to get a kid into hunting, that's a great area.
Sure.
Because, those farmers are a lot more likely to let you hunt a turkey than a deer, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not a rifle round that you're sending by their house.
Correct.
It's
Shotgun.
Shot. And so, not a bad way to go if you don't have your own property over there.
Not having hunted turkeys before, I thought your ambush plan was top shelf. It's like, wow, way to use Mother Nature to your advantage. Talk a little bit about
and so we were hunting a little bit by Lake Roosevelt too, and so and I just to preface this whole thing, I'm not a turkey hunter, right?
Right.
I'm just kind of using what little intuition I have about turkeys to try to put a game plan together. And so, I spot this giant flock of turkeys, right? And I'm like, well, they're gonna see me. I don't have any chance to sneak up on them, just the way the terrain was laid out. But right on the other side of where they were is the lake, right? Lake Roosevelt. And so I'm like,
you ever seen a turkey swim?
They're not going to swim, right? So I go down there, and of course I bump them over this little berm, and they go towards the lake, and I go, oh, I know where they're going to come right up.
Yeah.
They're going to be right here when they come right back over. They're not going to hang out on the beach all day.
Sure.
Right. And sure enough, a couple minutes went by, and here they come, one after the other, right? And I just pick one out, pop one, rack another round, pop another one. There's my turkeys. I'm done, right? Total success.
Total success.
So easy. Just hit the easy button. That's
right.
all it was.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Yep.
You used a definite boundary that you knew they couldn't go past.
Right.
And they had to turn around and come back up the hill.
They had to. They didn't have a choice.
You just had to have more patience than them, right?
Right. And that was pretty easy. They did not want to be down there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. They went over the hill, and it wasn't 2 minutes. I mean, it was the easiest hunt that I've ever had in my life. They came right back up, all of them.
And to your credit, you plucked both those birds.
I plucked both of them, yeah. Because I want to try to do kind of the deep fat fry turkey method. Because these birds, they don't have a lot of fat, right?
They do not.
And so
they will cook fast.
Kind of the methodology I'm thinking is you got to keep the moisture in there and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to have them.
I bet they're going to be delicious.
Yeah.
We've had wild bird. I've plucked them before and cooked them, oven roasted and just amazing. They definitely do not have as much fat, and the meat's a little darker than your, farm fresh raised fattened up bird. Right. But like any wild game or fish or fowl, they're lean, right? So, but they are delicious. So nicely done. Way to get that done. So
that wasn't even the primary mission.
No,
that was just like an added bonus. My father-in-law, he's like, hey, bring your shotgun. There's a lot of turkeys over here.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I'll bring my shotgun.
Pick a couple tags up.
And as soon as I saw them, I'm like, oh yeah, put down the 6.5, pick up the shotgun, go down there and get it done.
Well, perfect.
So that was phenomenal. But so the reason that we were over there was the late whitetail buck opener.
Yeah.
Runs for just over a week long, and this is like one of my favorite hunts because if you hit it right, if you get the right amount of weather, this can turn into a rut hunt, right?
Well, last year you had snow.
Oh yeah, we had snow on the 15th of November.
Yeah,
and those bucks just snapped into the rut. I mean, and it was so blatantly obvious. You're not really seeing a lot of bucks, seeing the does, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a buck, there's a buck, there's a buck, right, left and right. And I picked one out, and that last year it was a no-brainer. This year the weather was not on our side. It was horrible. We get over there, and I thought that I was in Western Washington. It was raining cats and dogs. There was fog everywhere.
You left here and it was raining. You get there, it's still raining.
Correct. And just talk about fog. I mean, there was just fog everywhere.
Huh.
I felt like I was hunting Western Washington elk, and you couldn't even see 100 yards. And we like to glass them up, just like a lot of our other hunts that we do. And you couldn't see, like to say you couldn't see past your barrel, but just a little bit past that, right? Which doesn't leave you a whole lot of opportunity. Hunting whitetail in the timber this time of year when they've been pressured and kicked around, it's a low odds game. I would much rather timber hunt elk than whitetail with modern rifle, right? And so I didn't really entertain that idea too much. Tried to get into some lower areas where there wasn't as much fog, but there just wasn't a lot of deer activity in those areas. So the first 2 days were just kind of frustrating. Not a lot happening, not a lot of activity. Really not trying to hunt the areas we wanted to hunt, just trying to hunt areas where we could see. And it didn't pan out. And then we went from kind of that rain, fog weather, and third day it was like blowing 40, and all of a sudden the temperature went through the roof, went up like 25 degrees, and it was over 60 degrees over there. And the wind was just howling, and the deer don't like that either, right? When you got all that movement in the trees, they're just like, little schizophrenics just running around.
And were you looking at the weather at that point going, what do we got? I mean, can we salvage this thing in the next couple of days? Are we going to have a turn of the weather here? I mean, or is this it? This is what we're up against?
Right. That's what I was wondering. I was checking the weather constantly, and then I saw, okay, well, on that fourth day, the wind's going to die down, and it's going to drop. The temperature is going to absolutely drop, right? And it did. It got into the 20s, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. And then the night before, right as it was starting to drop, I look up, and there's the moon, right? If it's not one thing, it's another.
Full moon?
So here's this full moon, and I'm like, those stupid deer, the wind died down. They're going to be feeding all day, or all night. All night, I mean.
Yep.
And sure enough, they fed all night.
Sure.
Right. So you get up the next morning. It's nice and cold. It's clear though, and we didn't see hardly anything that next morning. Right. And this is our last day. This is day number 4. And before that, I'd seen a spike that I passed on, and I'd seen, I don't know if it was a 2 or a 3 point, but it was giving me that whitetail wave, the big whitetail going back and forth saying,
not today,
brother, not today, right? See you later.
Yep.
And so, I'm thinking, okay, well, they're going to come out at some point today. They're going to come out at some point because this is really the first good solid weather day that we had. Nice and cold, and they need to feed. And sure enough, it just started coming together. So I was hunting with my wife and Junior, and so we're doing pretty easy hunts.
Sure.
This is not like your grueling elk hunt where I'm putting 50 miles right on the boots. This is pretty easy. We're looking into some timbered areas that have, maybe some small grassy areas amongst the timber, right, and trying to catch movement in the timber and hopefully spot a buck. And sure enough, it's timber that I'd been glassing, the past couple days when the fog allowed. Nothing. And I look down. I'm at the top of this ridge. I look down, and there's Mr. Whitetail buck. And I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't even range him because I'm like, okay, you know, usually I'm ranging. So this was about 130 yards. I think it ended up doping out 139. And I put the crosshairs on him, didn't even think, pulled the trigger, boom. He was facing me. Didn't even give me a broadside shot, pulled the trigger. I knew I got him immediately because they did that. You know, they do that big jump, big kick, and then they run downhill, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did.
That double mule kick, right?
Yeah,
Whether
that's
you hit
a telltale sign.
Yeah, it's a telltale sign, whether it's with an arrow or it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You punch them through the lungs, telltale sign is that double mule kick.
Exactly.
Yep, every time.
You know, and so saw that, I'm like, okay. You know, but then no matter what they do in my mind, you know, it always goes through my head like, did I miss? Did I miss?
Right.
You know, I'm always questioning myself.
Well, especially when you see him run off.
Right. Yeah, you see him run off, and you go,
mean,
how did he take that?
Well, it's like your cow elk.
Right.
You hit her the first time.
Right. Yep.
And you're like, God, did I miss?
Did she feel it? She didn't even move. Right?
Yeah.
And so you know, all these emotions go through your head, and then the adrenaline just kicks in, you know, and I start hacking, right? Because I'm just like all jacked up.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't matter, you know. And this is not a super big buck. It was a 2x3.
Yeah.
But it was our last day, and it was a great meat buck.
Absolutely great meat buck.
And I was hunting with a couple other guys, you know, and the plan was we're going to split this deer, right? And so I'm thinking, you know, this is our only chance.
Yep.
I'm going to take this buck. And then that was about 12:45 on that fourth day. And then within the next 3 hours, the other two guys that are with me both shoot bucks.
They both shoot bucks.
They both shoot bucks. And one of those hunters was, this was his first hunt.
Oh.
Never hunted before. Shot 2 turkeys the day before.
Yeah.
And then closed the deal on his first ever buck.
Was he by himself when he shot it?
He was.
Do you know what to do?
Kind of. Yes. I mean, we talked to him a lot about, you know, target recognition. No, number one, knowing the difference between a whitetail and a muley.
Yeah, that's
kind
of important.
You know, so we hunted, you know, with him the first 3 days.
Okay.
And kind of set him up in an area where, you know, we knew he had an opportunity. And so he was well versed in identifying, you know, muley versus whitetail. We didn't want to have a situation where he shot a muley buck thinking it was a whitetail.
Sure.
And he didn't. And then it's like always verify the headgear. You got to make sure that there's headgear on that on that sucker.
That it matches what is required for headgear, right?
And he closed the deal. So we got, you know, one new hunter added to the community, which is pretty awesome.
Well, you know, it just goes to show you the weather you guys were up against for the first 3.5, 4 days. You know, 3.5 days. You're able to get the turkey to, you know, go, but the fog, the rain, the wind, and as soon as you get that weather change and that cold snap drops in, eventually that weather stays cold for a few days. They may have opportunity to feed at night. They're going to have to come out and feed during the day.
Yeah.
Because cold temperatures means caloric burn to keep body temperature up. To keep body temperature up, what do they need? They need more calories. So they're going to have to go to the grocery store at some point. Fortunately for you guys that day, everybody was shopping, right?
Yep.
It's like that time of day is conducive to them getting up and going.
It is.
Anywhere between 10 a.m. and 2 in the afternoon, you can get a lot of deer movement that point of day, right? And
we didn't, you know, we didn't see, it was enough weather to get them moving, but we did not see any hardcore like rut activity from the whitetail side of the house.
Yeah, you didn't see any big bucks all of a sudden start showing up, right?
And we didn't even see, you know, the bucks that we were seeing, we didn't see them, you know, pushing does, chasing does, things like that. On the muley side of the house, a different story.
Yeah, it sounds like they had a party going on.
They had a whole, I won't say it, but yeah, they had a party. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It was full rut for the muley side of the house.
Yeah.
Whitetail, not so much.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting. But I'm sure, you know, if you were there today, yesterday, I'm sure it's getting to be full on.
The weather, especially, well, weather always affects it, but as you get into this November hunt, and, you know, as we get towards next week, Thanksgiving, late archery mule deer opportunity on the east side in certain counties. I've been over there with Jared Gibbons years past in Okanagan area, 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Raining. How many deer do you think came to the blind that day? I can tell you one day there were 7. 6 of them were does, and the other one was a spike. It's like, this ain't happening, right? You're over here prime time of the year, 3 days before Thanksgiving. Historically can be very, very great opportunity. But that one year in particular, we've had a couple seasons over there, years past it. It was pretty warm, and then you get a day or two of cold weather, and you just look forward to that temperature drop, and all of a sudden you got all kinds of activity, right? They got to come and feed and that whole thing. So, yeah, it looks like I got a few hats on the desk. I do, but we are giving away a Fisherman's Brew this evening, Tommy, getting folks ready for the holiday. So, awesome. We come back from the break. You got to stick through us here. We're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. You're going to be in the kitchen with Chef Jeff Maxfield and, of course, co-host Sherry England in the kitchen at Finn's Bistro. We get through that. We come back in studio. We're going to give away a bag of coffee. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
That's how you finish out a dinner, with a nice, fresh bag of coffee. So we'll do that. We'll do that when we come back. So we'll jump out for a quick break. We come back. You're going to be in the kitchen at Finn's Bistro for the recipe of the week, Venison Gyro. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
End of Watch Ride to Remember is a group from the state of Washington traveling across the country to honor fallen officers from 2019. End of Watch organizer Jagrut Shah says they want to show departments who've lost partners and friends they are not alone.
I wanted to bridge this gap that we have and bring back to the department, let the deputies or the officers know that their lost has not been forgotten.
In 2019, 146 officers were killed in the line of duty, and End of Watch Ride to Remember is on a mission to pay their respects to each of them.
For us, it's just important realizing that the men and women in blue everywhere should remember that they haven't been forgotten. We're not forgetting them. We want the families to know that their loved ones have not been forgotten.
everyone, welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest. We're here in the kitchen of Finn's Bistro with Jeff, the co-owner and chef in Issaquah, Washington. And what do we have here? Oh, Dwayne's deer.
We got Dwayne's deer. Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a take on gyros, which is kind of a Greek taco, really.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a great way to utilize. You know, it's always great with backstrap and that sort of thing. Always a typically tender type of or cut of meat. We're using something that would most likely end up in a grinder and turn into burger.
To show people what you can make with it.
Absolutely.
Other than.
And you can see here, you know, this is from the rump of the deer. And you can tell that stringiness on the meat. That's typically something that you wouldn't, you know, use in an application like this unless you kind of know what you're doing, which in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to sear it, do a quick little marinade on it. This is dry oregano, a little bit of dried rosemary and dried thyme, a little bit of Worcestershire, and then we've got a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of garlic.
Okay.
And we're just going to kind of rub that in there. It's best to let this, you know, marinate an hour or two. You know, for our application, we're just going to go ahead and sear it right now in a pan.
Okay.
What we'll do, and you saw how that stringiness of the meat, it kind of, you know, you can see it pulling apart.
It's separated.
We're going to cut it across a grain once it's cooked, and that's going to, you know, shorten up that muscle fiber and make it a little bit easier to
funny,
to
I've
chew.
never realized how that separates like that.
It's, you know, and it's very typical in a cut like a brisket and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So we'll get a pan hot here.
All right.
Right.
And you always use pans that can go into the oven.
Yes, yeah, cast iron works really well. You could actually just do this on your grill. You know, we don't have a grill here, but you could do this on your grill, which would be, you know, an easy, you know, 5 or 6 minutes on the grill for medium rare.
Right.
So that pan should be getting hot now.
Okay.
And what we're gonna do is, again, we've talked about kind of a neutral oil that has a, you know, higher smoke point. You can tell now it's starting to smoke there.
So you have a mixture of olive oil and vegetable oil?
Vegetable oil and olive oil, yep.
Okay.
And it's about 75% vegetable oil, 25% olive oil. Yep.
Okay.
So we'll give that a nice little sear on both sides. Typically, if the pan's already hot and you're going right into the oven with the pan, what we'll do is once we flip it, we'll go straight into the oven.
Okay.
So you can see how it's starting to get, you know, that's called a Maillard reaction, which is the protein starting to sear like that. It's the sugars and everything else coming out. My seasoning that I use and that we use in our restaurant has a little bit of sugar in it, so it actually helps with that process of kind of caramelizing the meat a little bit. So we'll flip it over. If there's a little excess oil in there, you can just dump that oil out, just so it's not, you know, smoking up your house.
Yeah, and we're going to be making that available, your seasoning.
Yes, correct.
To our viewers.
Yep.
Yes, very soon. Yes.
So one of the condiments that you would typically do with a gyro is Satsiki sauce. So can you say that?
Say that again.
Satsiki sauce.
Satsiki sauce?
Satsiki, and it starts with a T and ends with an I, and I don't know all the other letters in there, but there's quite a few of them. It's a pretty simple sauce. Yogurt, cucumber, dill, garlic, and we'll be good to go from that. So this is Greek yogurt, Greek style yogurt. You know, it's typically a little more dense, which is great. It's not, you know, the real creamy type of yogurt. And it helps, you know, as we add lemon juice and different things to it.
Yeah.
So we'll just add that right to a bowl.
Okay.
And a little bit of garlic.
Garlic. Garlic's always good.
Garlic is good. Cucumber. That's really what makes the
So you
Satsiki
diced it
sauce.
up pretty good.
I diced it up pretty good. Using an English cucumber, you don't need to peel it. They're, you know, a little bit more tender. Their skin's more tender. On a regular cucumber, like out of your garden, you might want to peel it or peel it a couple, you know, around a little bit, just so it's not so chewy. Fresh dill. I like dill, so. And then
it's found in any restaurant. Or, I mean, any store.
Yes,
Sorry about that.
Absolutely. A little bit of sea salt and
Fresh
fresh lemon juice. I got a seed in there. All right. And we're just going to mix that up. This one you can certainly do ahead of time. You know, it takes on more of the garlic flavor and the cucumber flavor the longer it sits. So typically what I'll do is I'll just take the yogurt container, dump it in a bowl, mix it up, and put it right back in the yogurt container, put it in the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good on, you know, chicken. It's good on fish.
Yeah, it lasts a while in the fridge.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can keep it. It'll last for a week easily in the fridge.
Smells amazing.
All right. And then lastly, we've got pita bread, which you can find pretty much in any bakery part
restaurant.
of a restaurant. Well, any bakery department of a grocery store. I prefer these style as opposed to the pita pocket ones where you can cut them open and they've got the little pocket. These actually work really great for pizza as well.
Oh.
All right, so we're just gonna warm that up a little bit. It can go in your oven. You can throw it in a toaster oven if you know, right out of the bag. They're just great too. So
okay.
All right, so we've got
magically
perfectly cooked, hopefully. All right, let's put this here. So again, you can still see that stringiness there.
Right.
But what we're going to do is we're going to go straight across the grain here, and it's going to make that be perfectly tender.
It's perfectly medium rare.
All right. And there's no need to angle your knife like. No need to angle your knife like flank steak or anything like that, because these are pretty straightforward muscle fibers. All right.
So tender. Why anybody would throw this into a hamburger is beyond me.
Absolutely.
Dwayne's always cut it to where it just tastes perfectly like that. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we've got cucumber, feta cheese, tomato, red onion. That's all the taco garnishes, essentially. All right.
Taco making.
Taco making. All right, so I typically like a little bit of the sauce. I've got this one that's been marinating for a little bit. A little bit on the bottom.
Okay.
And put your venison in there. A little bit of feta cheese.
Wow.
Cucumber. And again, if you want to do carb-free, just put this over lettuce and omit the pita bread.
Yeah.
Makes a great salad. A little bit of tomato, a little bit of thinly shaved red onion.
That looks amazing, Jeff.
And then white down a little bit more fresh dill. And
a little more sauce on top.
A little more sauce.
Oh.
All right, and there we have our our venison gyros.
Yes. So while we dig into this tasty dish, we're going to shoot it back to you guys in the studio. Nice.
Here you know.
Hey, well, there we go. That was awful quick. There you go, the venison gyro. Yeah, how are you doing? Yeah. The venison gyro, how was that?
Man, I can't wait to try it. I've never done a gyro with any of the deer or the elk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. And,
sweet.
To Jeff's credit, too, and the cuts of meat that I brought up there, brought some backstrap, brought some sirloin. He's like, no, let's just use this rear, flank piece here that you got trimmed up real nice, and we can make that work, and I'll show you how, right? And he did, and it was so tender. It's all about recognizing the grain,
right?
Which direction the grain's running. Sear it up, cook it up, season it, whatever, and then cut across that grain. You're going to have a really nice tender piece of meat. So it worked out fantastic. It was absolutely delicious, that Greek yogurt mixture that he put together there during the process. If you guys haven't done it, Tommy, just like you said, you have to, step out a little bit, kind of start doing some different things with your game, and this is a good one for sure. And we're going to bring you more recipes of the week. It's just always coordinating schedules with Jeff and try to get it done, but and we got a bunch of them coming, so we're excited to bring it back. Looks like a lot of folks are enjoying that, and we hope to continue to bring more to you. And if you haven't done so yet, and as you work your way through the holidays, man, take some time, take the spouse, significant other, whatever, make a date night, get up there to Issaquah.
Yeah.
Right? And especially through the holiday season, the downtown little area there would be kind of nice to hang out with. But get up to Issaquah and patron Jeff and his team there at Finn's Bistro. You will not be disappointed. The food is absolutely amazing.
Everything is good.
Everything's amazing.
Like usually you walk into a restaurant, you'll say, okay, what's good? You know?
Yeah.
And the waiter or the waitress will say, oh, well, this is good or that's good.
Uh-huh.
With Jeff's menu at Finn's Bistro, you can't go wrong with anything on the menu.
It's fantastic.
It's all good.
Absolutely great experience. So, all right, with that, a couple folks asking again for the phone number. Shelby Ross, Ross Outdoor Adventures, duck and goose hunt with Tommy and I and the FHN team, December 22nd over at Potholes Reservoir. It's going to be a fantastic event, $350. You can't go wrong. 509-750-7763. With that, we'll jump out for a quick break. We come back, we're going to get our buddy Dave Calhoun on the phone. Tommy, we're going to talk some fishing rods and an amazing blowout Black Friday special coming up. You don't want to miss. Stick around. We'll be back after the break right here, Fish on Northwest.
Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21 foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road. Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Here we go.
Hey, welcome back, Fish on Northwest. Dwayne England, Tommy Donlin in studio. We have our good buddy Dave Calhoun on the phone, who's going to wait patiently for a minute because after we came back from the recipe of the week, we want to give away a package or a bag of Fisherman's Brew, Tommy.
Yes, indeed.
And you got a number in your head?
I have the number that you gave me.
Yeah, there you go. We got a number. So go ahead, start throwing it out here on the old messenger. We got a number between 1 and 50.
Yeah.
1 and 50. First one to type that in is going to win a bag of Fisherman's Brew. It's going to be your choice of the medium blend, the King Salmon blend, or the Steelhead blend, which is your French roast. Both fantastic in taste and quality. So, all right, numbers are starting to pile in. I'm watching the ticker here. And have yet to see it.
Nope.
Moving along. This usually takes about 30 seconds or so. So for those not participating, just hang in there. We'll get to this as soon as we can. Boy, nothing
Cue
yet.
the Jeopardy music, please.
Cue the Jeopardy music.
Well,
so
we're going the right direction.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say.
We're getting close there. Sid Russell, we're getting close. There we go. John Sullivan, number 12. Way to go. Okay, John Sullivan, go ahead and message us up with your phone number and your address, and we will get that shipped out to you. Hopefully we get it in the mail here this next week before the holidays. We'll see. So the number 12, John Sullivan. Thanks for playing, everybody. Moving right along. Dave Calhoun, owner of Northwest Rods, on the phone, patiently waiting. Sounds like you got one heck of a Black Friday sale coming up here, mister.
I do. So, I'm getting tired of people using Black Friday all year and Black Friday for this. And we've extended Black Friday through January, and it's a bunch of crap. Black Friday is one day, and it should hurt. It should hurt. When you sell a rod for $100, it should hurt. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to give till it hurts.
What about Cyber Monday? Are you doing that too?
Cyber Monday?
No. Nope. Nope. I'm closed down. I'm doing one day.
You know why? They got no internet connection in Kalama.
Oh yeah. No, we still use Dixie cups and string down here.
Carrier pigeons.
Yeah, we're hoping to get indoor bathrooms next year. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah, there's always wishful thinking. Baby steps. So let's talk about this rod sale. Black Friday, Friday after Thanksgiving. What'd you say, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Yeah, I want to bring back the old sales, the kind of stuff that people are willing to trample each other over and sleep in line in tents to get, flat screens for $100 and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm so sick of them people just, it's a 10% discount on a special day or something. No, these are going to be awesome deals. So I've got, at this point, I'm almost 400 rods.
Wow.
That will be $100 or less, depending on the rod. So I've got my cork handle kokanee stuff. That's going to be $100. I've got some 10-6 salmon rods that are going to be $100. I've got plug rods for steelhead, walleye. I mean, I've got everything that was built pre, 1 year ago is got to go. They're old handles. They're discontinued blanks that we don't do anymore. There's just no reason to keep them laying around. And so I'm going to sell them and have one big blowout day.
I got a guy asking, do you have a 7.5 foot, 8 to 15 carbon fiber handle for walleye?
I do have it. The carbon fiber handles will probably be in the $150 rack and not in the $100 rack.
Okay.
But I've got so many cork handle standard rods, and there's nothing wrong with cork. In fact, a lot of the guys prefer the cork, especially for rods that are winter steelhead type rods, so your hands aren't getting so cold. If you're not using bait or anything that's going to get into the cork, I mean, it's still one of the lightest materials out there, and I have a ton of cork.
Well,
so
you have high quality cork though too. Let's not kid anybody. It's not like you're putting just garbage cork on these things. This is
this is all the old school Portuguese cork that I got when we acquired the other company for the last few years. And so I haven't bought a piece of cork in probably 5 years.
Yeah.
The stuff made now is so full of filler that they have to wrap it in plastic. And they hope you don't get it wet, because then it looks like Swiss cheese, and the rings start falling off the handle.
These rods are great, just don't get them wet, right? Yeah,
exactly. And then good luck trying to get any of these companies to warranty anything. That's another story. But this Black Friday sale is going to be a really big deal. I've been building rods nonstop, trying to get stuff finished and coated and ready to go. It's one day only, no shipping. Be there. If you have to, send a friend. He can take live video and pictures and find a rod for you, but you don't want to miss this sale. They'll never be this cheap, and I hope they all go away.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's a one-day event down there at your location. Folks can look you up on your Facebook page or northwestrods.com, find your address and whatnot so they can be there. Starts at 9 a.m., doors close at 4. As you said, no shipping. I know folks are going to be asking here, do you ship? But it's a one-day deal. Make the drive. Tommy, if you're buying a rod for $100, you can drive a couple hours to go get a $100 rod,
right.
especially if you get a couple of them.
Well,
for
for that, I think you said there's RV hookups there next to the building. Dave? Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I want to start tent. Hey, it already looks like a tent village down in Portland. I'm sure we could probably get some down here and set them up for the people and stuff, and we'll just tell everybody we're in line for a concert or something.
Yeah,
but
careful what you wish for.
Right.
Well, yeah. No, I think a lot of people, what they do for the North guys, they usually will call their buddies and carpool and get 3 or 4 guys together and all come at one time, which is really a good way to go about it. But yeah, this is going to be a big deal. And then we won't have another sale until probably February and possibly sportsman shows, and that'll kind of be to be determined then. But right now, this is it, and I got a ton of really good stuff.
Gotcha. Hey, got one individual asking if you're going to be at the Sportsman Show here in Puyallup, or if you're just going to focus on the Oregon show.
No, the Puyallup show for many reasons just doesn't work for my rods.
Mm-hmm.
I will be there, but I won't be set up. And, it all comes down to masks. If they make us wear masks at the sportsman shows, I can't do it.
Sure.
So that's really the biggest thing. And since everything's still kind of up in the air and we don't know, it takes so long to put these things together and to plan stuff like that. So it's really going to be a game time decision for like the Portland show. And it's sad. I mean, we both have many friends and people in this industry that are struggling just because that sportsman show was the biggest thing ever.
Yeah,
and I hope that that's not just a thing of the past. So we'll see. But I'll definitely be at Portland if it goes on and we don't have to wear masks.
Hey, are those kokanee rods you came out with last year? Are those going for $100? Those got cork handles.
Yes, the cork handle ones are $100. I have a bunch of the carbon fiber handle ones that are on the 150 rack, and I have a bunch of new things that I'll be launching. People will be able to see them, and everything's going to be on sale. Even my most popular scorpion rod, which I can barely keep in stock, it's going to be on sale too. Not $100, but but just the fact that I have them again because I've been out for most of the year, and then I make 50 or 100, and then they're gone again, and it's a heck of a time trying to keep up. So those will all be on sale as well. So it's not just the scratch and dents and the old discontinued stuff. I've got everything. Winter steelhead plug rods. That's just around the corner.
Yep.
All my steelhead float rods with the carbon fiber grips.
Right.
Those are all going to be on sale too.
Perfect.
And Bob wants to know, what about steelhead rods?
Yes, I probably have more steelhead rods than anything else.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Well, fantastic. All right, mister. Not so sure we're going to be able to make it down there. We are out of town for a day or two on the whole Thanksgiving holiday. But if I need something, I know where you live, so I'll just come down and get it. But
you got it, bro.
All right, buddy. Well, appreciate you jumping on here tonight. Hopefully a lot of people take advantage of it. That's one heck of a sale, and people got to make sure they make the drive because it'll be well worth their time.
Sounds good. Thanks for your time. Y'all be safe out there, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yep, you too, buddy. Talk to you soon. All right, see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. There you go. Well,
That's a good deal.
Different types of rods, Tommy. I mean, he's got a ton of stuff. And he did say steelhead rods.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, steelhead is kind of on the minds of many, my friend, as of late. Not sure if you're aware. We've gone down this road. You haven't really put a lot of time in steelhead fishing.
No, I think I went side drifting once.
Well,
and then I'm like, oh, this is horrible.
You're not missing
Why
anything.
would I do this again?
Well, for those of us in the Northwest who grew up steelhead fishing, it is it can be considered a rite of passage almost. It's just something that gets in your blood. You just want to continue to do year in and year out. With all the struggles with the cold weather, with the, back in the day, the crappy gear, the whole deal. I don't know what it is, but, Northwest and steelhead fishing is synonymous with just feeling to truly be part of the outdoors in the Northwest. We've been following this steelhead thing for a number of weeks, and we've been reminding folks about the WDFW town halls, online town halls that have been provided. They've had 3 of them now. Number 4 installment is November 29th, 5 p.m., the Coastal Steelhead Virtual Town Hall, wrapping up the department's 4-part series of meetings in the fall to gather public feedback ahead of the 2021-22 Coastal Steelhead season. The meeting is slated to include discussions of co-managers' agreed to fishing plans for the season. And we all know the agreed to fishing plans is what they agree to with the co-managers or the tribes, right?
Yep.
So we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And yesterday, that being said, yesterday there was a Fish and Wildlife Commission Fish Committee meeting. This is an adjunct of the Fisheries Commission, Fish and Wildlife Commission. They have a subcommittee for just this, in fact, the steelhead crafting or drafting of the season. As it was very well recapped by our friend Andy Walgamont over there at Northwest Sportsman's Magazine, the Washington Fish and Wildlife Commission members bid to provide a recommendation, yesterday to the director and to the rest of the commission. Most of this information was garnered from the citizens who have been weighing in at these meetings, right? These previous 3 virtual town halls. And they've been talking about the season's coastal winter steelhead regulations, and they're presenting this information to Director Siswin, trying to figure out where he's going to go with this thing.
Right.
Basically.
Well, and a lot of this discussion is based off the fact that 5 of the 7 river systems did not meet their escapement goals
last year.
And they're not projected to meet escapement this year.
Correct.
And then on top of that, and I found this part interesting, WDFW is still projecting poor ocean conditions going forward, which I thought was really interesting because if you look at, this last year, they were excellent. The year before, excellent, and then we had some trouble in the past.
Sure.
But that's the thing that I kind of find troubling. But then you and I talked about it, that has a lot to do with the travel route of steelhead versus salmon, right?
Sure,
it's different. So they also think that, ocean conditions are playing into where we are with this.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap our head around it because neither you or I are an environmental, biologist or a wildlife biologist or a fisheries manager, any of that. But we can take at face value what we observe. What we observe is an unbelievable coho return this year. Chinook, the last 2 years, has been pretty amazing, right? Tuna, if you remove weather, and what was going on there, but we're trying to tie this to what we know about our additional anadromous fisheries within the West Coast. And on the front edge of this, salmon, you kind of go, what are you talking ocean conditions, But one thing we do know is that when they get to the ocean, salmon go one way, steelhead go another. What's happening to the steelhead in the ocean, I don't know. But it pulls me all the way back to go, is it really ocean conditions? We've proven for years in studies that we are losing a high percentage, in some regards upwards of 75% of our steelhead smolt, we're losing from estuary water entrance to the Straits of Juan de Fuca. So if we're only out-migrating 20 to 25% of our steelhead smolt from that point on, what do we expect our return to truly be? If we've recognized the Hood Canal Bridge as a major obstruction, because we know for certain steelhead smolt are surface and near-shore swimmers, right? Yep. And we've proven this through studies and millions upon millions of dollars of research and stuff. Where's the ask? And what I mean by that is, when do we go to Congress and say, or to Olympia and say, hey, we need money for this project. We need to somehow remove parts of the floating bridge, re-engineer, make passageways through the floating bridge to allow these steelhead to get through. And here's where those channels need to be, or whatever that looks like. Big round pipes through the center of the floats. I don't know. I mean, you'd be closer in mind to that than I, because I'm no engineer, let's face it. But there's got to be a means to provide passage, right? And it's like, when is that ask coming to Congress? And if it has already, somebody correct me, but I would have missed it. So I'm asking, when's that going to happen? We can talk ocean conditions, but how about fixing the things closer to home that I would think we almost have some small percentage of control over?
Right.
Okay, so that's one part of it. But so commission members presented a recommendation to the Fish Committee, and here's where they were going with this whole deal. They want to close the south and central coast Willapa Bay, Grays Harbor, Queets, Clearwater, Upper Quinault systems to fishing, except near hatcheries when clipped steelhead are abundant. Okay.
Yeah, they are also recommending what they're calling a conservative fishery, right, for the hoe and the quill-ute, where they're talking about, okay, you can fish from a boat, but there's going to be some restrictions, right? Either in number of days that you can fish, number of hours that you can fish, or just having really restricted areas that you're allowed to fish.
Yeah.
Kind of like up until the last couple of years, it's kind of like how our halibut season's been. You get 3 days, and then the quota gets eaten in 3 or 4 days, and then you're done. So they are talking about that.
So they're trying to find a compromise. Last year they came with this big swath, boom, kick you in the, and remove you from fishing from a floating device, barbless single hook, no bait, no scent. All those rules were implemented, boom. Middle of December, carte blanche change, here we go, right? They're trying to find balance in this thing. They're trying to appease so many persons have an input. I get it. You and I have given them credit for jumping on this sooner than later. Those discussions started in September. Presentations and opportunity for public weigh-in was in October. This wasn't a last witching hour, hey, here it comes, get ready for it. This is being proactive to a point, at least in the realm of involving public, right? So now when you're talking about what you just mentioned, we're trying to find some type of buy-off here. It's like, well, if we want to fish for boats, okay, but you can only be on the river for 3 hours.
Right.
Or you have to be off the river by noon.
Right.
Or you only get to fish 1 or 2 days a week, right? Again, it's all in the effort to limit encounters, recreational angler opportunity encounters with fish. So that is kind of the balance they're looking for. The Fish Committee members wanted to vote on these recommendations. Okay, they actually wanted to take a vote on it and come up with a final say. Director, well, acknowledged the role of the commission, and this was in part of the article here. The role of the commission as overseers, he said that he didn't want the recommendation vote to the full panel, or he didn't think it was needed. And he's kind of defining a line there. It's like, when does it cross over from guidance into policy? And I get that. There's some things you like take information in. It's like, here's our guidance that we'd like to recommend. Here's policy. The commission is in charge of creating and giving policy, which gives direction to the director, who then bestows that down into the fish and game, right? So he kind of was feeling this is kind of pigeonholing him into one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, and a key point that we have to remember too is that this is a joint management effort, right?
Yeah.
There are co-managers in this effort.
Correct,
so
yep.
Before the season gets set, his staffers have to come up with a management plan with those coastal tribes that everybody can agree to.
Sure.
And they're also very concerned about where we are with the health of our steelhead runs.
And that's why no decisions will be finalized or put out there until you have those agreed to fisheries. It's no different than the North of Falcon process. We get a list of agreed to fisheries. They're called the LOAF.
Yep.
List of agreed to fisheries, right? This was an interesting little snippet out of the article from Northwest Sportsman's Magazine. In an apparent exasperation, Siswin also stated that the commission processes were getting out of control.
Yeah.
I found that to be interesting.
I do too.
So where does this land? Well, okay, so the meeting, as I mentioned, is 5 p.m. on November 29th. It is the fourth installment of the final installment of the invite for public to have say. I find it interesting because I think at this point, if they all have met with the co-managers, as we're right on the threshold of the director giving his final presentation, like within that first week of December. So I don't see a lot of weigh-in coming from the public that's going to force any change.
Right.
I think the decision is going to be made. The meetings will have happened with the co-managers. The list of agreed to fisheries will have been stamped. And I think it's more of just fluff and smoke and mirrors at that point. I don't know what they're going to gain from that. I think the takeaway there would be for folks to tune in and listen to how this is unfolding. Now, it's a very difficult conversation to have. There have been a lot of folks, I listened to a lot of people talk about this. I message back and forth with people about this. I've been very passionate about staying on top of this because I too am a passionate steelhead fisherman and want to have that opportunity in the winter and understand how grave danger we are truly in. Look, if they think that simply by removing the recreational community once again from opportunity is going to save the steelhead, completely wrong. If people think that their vision is just that, you're completely wrong. WDFW is smart enough to recognize simply by removing us out of the equation is not going to bring back the steelhead. Right. There has to be a much bigger plan here. There needs to be agreements moving forward between the ad hoc committees that have been formed and all those very smart individuals who are out there in the field and on the water, weekly, daily, what have you, working with WDFW and the co-managers to come up with a recovery management plan.
Yeah.
These Band-Aid approaches, Tommy, and this reactionary management philosophy that we have fallen under for so many years, let's face it, it ain't working.
Right. And they have to go back to a place where they're taking full accountability, right? You can't just point to the ocean conditions and say, the ocean, The ocean, Mother Ocean, is screwing us, right?
And there's nothing we
can do about it, right?
Yeah.
Forget that whole, that kind of rhetoric.
Yeah.
It's not helpful.
I agree.
We got to focus on the things that we can control, and that comes down to being able to create that in-river management plan, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And so, as I was kind of mentioning, a lot of people are probably pissed off at James Losey. I look at James Losey, a friend, and I've known him for a long time, and I've been mad at James Losey before too. I mean, he's taken stuff away on Christmas that I don't like, right? And but he's a very smart man. I think he's very fair in his demeanor and his presentation. If you watch the amount of information that he puts together for these presentations for public education, is second to none. I mean, it's just hands down some of the best that's been out there in the realm of this problem that we have with Steelhead. But the problem is we needed James Losey like 15 years ago. I think a lot of people, they may not want to admit that, but we truly needed James, somebody like James, to intervene 15 years ago, because what we've been doing is managing these fisheries based on preseason forecasts, and they never became an issue for the recreational guy because we got our season. Yeah. We didn't know these discussions were happening back then. It's like, well, we're going to not meet escapement by 1,500 fish. Well, that's okay. Make sure they get their 2-fish limit. I mean, if you ran your checkbook like that, you'd be out of your house in 6 months, right? You can't do that. You can't write these checks that your body or your bank can't cash. So we have been fishing on fisheries that were projected to fall low or come in lower than needed escapement. And it wasn't until James ran that flag up the pole a few years ago that people started taking notice. So credit to him for doing it. Unfortunately, too little too late. Not on him, but because the department, WDFW, where have you been at 15 years ago? Yeah, we talked about declining fish runs, and I sat in a lot of meetings where people were pissed off and bitching about the fact that the tribes are taking too many fish and we're not seeing the fish returns that we should, and we were still able to just catch and release wild fish like crazy, and it wasn't until a handful of years ago we stopped retaining wild fish.
Right. Yeah.
So we have been behind the 8 ball on this thing for a long time. So now we're trying to mop up the pieces, and it's very difficult. There's no easy answers here, but I can tell you just simply by expecting the recreational folks to take a back seat is not the answer. It's a Band-Aid approach.
Right.
Again, I'm hoping there's more in the works as we move towards the future collectively to come up with management recovery plans to include all user groups. By God, if they close this entire Grays Harbor region for a winter fishery and there's a single net in the water, I'm going to be the first to be going, this is BS.
Right.
You cannot talk effective recovery on a time frame that is in such dire straits and think we're selectively harvesting with gill nets. You can't do it. You can't talk conservation gill nets in the same sentence. I've said it for years, Tommy, and I'll continue to say it. So, by God, if we have closures in some of these regions and there are nets going into the river, we have a problem, folks, okay? We will continue to have a problem, and the co-managers aren't playing fair. Now, that being said, moving out to the coast, some of our tribal co-managers have been very receptive. They've moved the needle, so to speak, on agreements in their fisheries. How much they're going to cut back on percentage of take. The co-managers are concerned about making sure we get enough wild fish on the gravel. They've, years past, would look at us allowing our fish to go by, foregone opportunity, they see dollar signs. Now, it's not really considered foregone opportunity. Conversations are more about, we're letting those fish go so they can hit the gravel, and they say, well, we're going to help you do that. I like that. That's good stuff. But if we are taking a back seat and commercial harvest is going on, we're going to have an issue. So, anyway, enough on that. We will continue to follow this. I think it's important for folks to be educated on this regard. If you're passionate about steelhead fishing in the future, where it's going, you need to pay attention and hang in there. So this is trying times, folks, and there's no easy answer. But pay attention, stay informed, and if nothing else, Tommy, we're going to help folks get through the season, finding other things to do.
That's right. There's plenty of opportunity out there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we knew we'd run a little long because we had way too much information to get through tonight. No big deal. A little bumpy start there. That was kind of humorous. So anyway, hope everybody has a fantastic holiday. Enjoy the Thanksgiving. No, the bird is not for sale. Many people have asked if they could go ahead and purchase the Harper's artwork. Not happening. Grammy Shing would get a little upset at that one. So Enjoy your holiday. Be safe. We will be out of here next week, obviously, enjoying the same. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you, Larry, and everybody else popping in here. Enjoy your week. We will be back December 2nd, Tommy. December 2nd. And I'm pretty sure we'll be very close to a decision on our steelhead fisheries, so look forward to that. Have a great time. Oh, podcast, Jordan? Is that what you're pointing out? Yes, please. Check out the podcast. I'll take this debacle of a show, Tommy, and I'll put it up in our podcast for tomorrow morning. On your way to work, what have you, you can recap. Simply go to the Fish Hunt Northwest podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google, all the main platforms. Fish Hunt Northwest podcast is up and running weekly. Appreciate you finding that, downloading it, share it with your friends. Make sure folks get out there and find us and listen to us when you're on the road. Have a great holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you December 2nd.